Hi, and thank you for your time. So in the first video, it talked about the overdues, the todays, and how this function works, and your assigned tasks, the active projects, etc. And now the question here is, how do you create an active project? Well, let's view all properties, but let's click on Add a New Project right here. Now, when you add a new project or a transaction, okay, you're going to fill out this information. Now, as you can see here, I'm adding the title, the property address, the description. This is a foreclosure that needs to be sold by 11:30. Clients are XYZ. This is only within the company itself, internally. And you can say this as a template or not, and we'll go over that in a bit. And you could add more URLs. So in this case, if you wanted to click on the Properties tab, right-click and open up a new tab, you could go ahead and find the property that we're discussing. So if it's this property right here, you can click on it and grab the URL, copy and paste it, okay? Add it to this section right here, and you could call it property page so that you know which property it's being associated with, okay? Now, once you get that done, you could also select a lead. So you could click on select, and maybe this is your client right here, Paul Franklin, who's the owner or the seller of the property. And you can also associate other ways of properties in the system. This was one that he was already associated with. That's why it's selected right here. And then now, if this is a listing steps or an escrow closing steps, any type of templates that you created, which we'll go over, you can create and select the listing steps. So this is the listing process. And this will select everybody in the team who's part of that template. In this case, these 4 people. And we'll show you how to create a template in a moment. And once you're done, hit save. So in this case, as you can see, we could have your initial setups, open up escrow, do the final walkthroughs and closing steps, and each one of these milestones have steps and tasks built into them. So you can have these steps part of the whole process. So the way that it works is you can create any start date, end dates, and so forth. So you can select this, and let's say you're going to set up the sign in front of the home. You can edit this, and let's say you know it's going to be done by a certain date or a certain time frame. So in this case, if you know it's going to be, as you put it into escrow or into listing, let's say by the 3rd day you want to make sure that it's done. They'll start the task whenever on the 1st day, etc. The number of days due after the start date, and then alert. You can alert yourself 1 day before the due date and alert people in the organization, the management team, your master team, A, B team, whatever it may be, any of your teams that you created here as groups, as well as assign this to whomever. So if setting up the sign is John Masterdimes, it's the initial step, then you set it up, and then you hit close. And now it'll start saying who the assigned person is, when it has to be signed to them, and completed by. So you can start tracking down each action item within each project. So if I click on projects and I click on 1530 Irvine Boulevard, okay, I can see tasks and groups within the system here. So again, if I click on 1530 Irvine Boulevard property, it'll show me from a task perspective what needs to be completed, and a priority perspective what needs to be completed in a basically priority status based on the dates in which things need to be completed. So you could go by priority, you go by tasks, okay, like opening steps, etc. And I can also see what's been started, what's in progress, what's for review, who has action items in their names that need to complete certain action items within the team itself, okay. And I can also go ahead and click on the client right here because I know who they are. It's a hyperlink right back to the client's information. So I can add a conversation log or add a client report simply by clicking add, updating my client, and hitting save. Now those action items that we created are now over here where it says today's tasks, approved payment 120 Main Street, different tasks. So those tasks are going to be inside of here for completion of those steps. As well, as you can see, Paul Franklin is the client. It's assigned to John Masterdime, and all steps are part of the process and owner. So if you're overviewing all the tasks within the company, you can see exactly what is overdue, what could blow up, what needs to be done today, what could be done in the next 7 days and maybe get them completed, the ownership, the priority level, and what's been going on if they haven't even been started, etc. If I want to go ahead and update this one about creating flyers, I would click on it and it creates a thread, and I could say flyers ordered, etc. So I could put flyers ordered, and then I can now reassign this to Michael Keller because, and it's in progress for him now to review because it's in his steps, and change due date. Let's say it doesn't need to be changed or whatever, but I could say save it for tomorrow for review for Michael Keller. I can go ahead and add the client to the client report that this has been ordered, so letting the client know that the flyers have been ordered. And I can notify also the lead through this update. There's different things we could do here, plus notifying the team by clicking here in the little arrow on the people or all of them by holding your select down and selecting everybody in the team that is part of the process. So they're already here. So as you can see, the 4. So if I hit save, the system will send out an email to all 4 people that the flyers have been ordered. Plus, it'll tell the client here that it's been ordered as well. So if you select notify lead to this client, just be careful what you write in this area. Once you complete these action items, then hit save. And now what happens, it creates a thread. So you can see a thread of what's taking place on creating flyers or any action within the company, so you can see threads taking place on what's happening with each one of these steps. Okay, so with that said, please watch the next upcoming videos. Thank you now. Bye-bye.